What's behind your theory of showmanship in baseball?
You know, I don't think that baseball is such a grim, serious thing. Sure, I don't want to interfere with the game, but I do want everyone who comes out the ballpark to have fun.
In 1951, Major League Baseball, MLB, made a controversial decision that effectively banned little people from playing professional baseball. This decision ended the career of Eddie Gaedel, a 3'7" dwarf who briefly played in MLB and was on pace to become one of the most productive players in league history, at least by one key metric. To this day, Gaedel remains the only dwarf to ever play in the MLB. His story is both astonishing and deeply bizarre. Eddie Gaedel's MLB debut came under the eccentric ownership of Bill Veeck, a man known for his wild promotions and willingness to push boundaries to draw fans to the ballpark. Veeck paid Gaedel $100, had him jump out of a birthday cake, and instructed him under the threat of death to never swing the bat. Veeck even reportedly joked that he would be on the stadium roof with a high-powered rifle if Gaedel disobeyed. Gaedel's role was simple: crouch in the batter's box, making his strike zone nearly impossible to hit, and walk to first base. During Gaedel's sole plate appearance, he followed orders to perfection, drawing a walk on 4 straight pitches. The crowd erupted in laughter and applause, and Gaedel instantly became a national sensation. However, his MLB career was short-lived. The American League voided his contract the very next day, and MLB introduced a new rule requiring league approval for all player contracts, effectively banning little people from playing professional baseball. Today, this ban might not even be legal due to the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990. If a team signed a little person today, there's a strong chance MLB would have to reverse the ban. In fact, some teams have tested this concept. In 2009, the York Revolution, an independent minor league team, signed Dave Flood, a 3'2" radio host, to see if he could leverage his small strike zone. Flood went to the plate 4 times, walked once, struck out 3 times, and was eventually cut from the team. Critics blamed the umpire for his strikeouts, arguing that the unusual strike zone created challenges for accurate calls. The MLB strike zone, as defined, is the area over home plate, from the midpoint between a batter's shoulders and the top of their uniform pants to just below the kneecap. For an average player like Shohei Ohtani, this strike zone is reasonable. For a batter who is 3 feet tall, however, the zone becomes a pitcher's nightmare. Some theorize that a strike zone this small would make throwing strikes nearly impossible. Bill Veeck, ever the showman, exploited this loophole masterfully. Veeck's antics weren't limited to Gaedel. He was the mastermind behind numerous stunts designed to entertain and draw attention. He once hired a clown as a first base coach until the league stepped in. He signed a 56-year-old Minnie Minoso to play so he could boast of having the oldest player in MLB history. He introduced the first exploding scoreboard, orchestrated a riot by blowing up disco records between games of a doubleheader, and even allowed fans to manage his team for a game by voting on strategic decisions. Yet nothing topped the spectacle of Eddie Gaedel's plate appearance. Gaedel's story doesn't end on a high note. Despite achieving national fame, he struggled with his newfound celebrity. Just a decade later, Gaedel tragically passed away after being beaten on the street while leaving a bowling alley. His legacy, however, endures as a symbol of Bill Veeck's audacity and MLB's struggle with innovation. The question remains, could a little person thrive in MLB today? Statisticians have explored this scenario. The figure is large. A walk is worth 0.3 wins, while an out is worth 0.27 wins. To be a serviceable MLB player, a little person would need an on-base percentage, OBP, of at least .530. Achieving this would make them an average player, but surpassing it could turn them into a game changer. In 2009, author Todd Gallagher assembled a team of little people to face former MLB pitcher Dana Kicker. Kicker walked the first 5 batters he faced, struggled with the tiny strike zones, and ultimately allowed a team OBP of 1,700. If a little person could replicate this performance consistently, they'd be among the most effective pinch hitters in baseball history. Yet this remains speculative. Bill Veeck's vision and the 1951 stunt are reminders of baseball's complex relationship with change and inclusivity. While some consider Gaedel's appearance a farce, others view it as a clever challenge to convention. The question is, will we ever see a team bold enough to try it again? All it might take is another maverick like Bill Veeck, willing to test the limits of the game.